Good morning. As chair of the Gettysburg College Board of Trustees, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome all of you here this morning for a pretty momentous event as far as I'm concerned, as we're here to dedicate the college's Veterans Memorial. And after all, in a town that's filled with monuments, it is rather fitting that Gettysburg College erects a Veterans Memorial in recognition of the gifts of service, honor, duty, and sacrifice that our alumni, both living and dead, have given since the college's founding 179 years ago. As the 16th President of the United States, we won't quiz you, said, he was here in Gettysburg, that's a hint, and when he was here, he dedicated the National Cemetery. He had a quote which is very fitting for today's ceremony. His quote is, and I will read it, "It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced." And I think that very much sums up not only today's ceremony, but probably just a very good reminder for us for our everyday lives as well. It's, as I mentioned, it's an honor to be here and to see everyone here. Great turnout. I especially want to thank the veterans from our alumni and our parent ranks and our many siblings of our alums as well, who served our country with honor. And I personally want to thank you for your service, and those that are here, thank you for joining us today. At this time, I'd like to introduce U.S. Army retired Major General William M. Matz, Jr., a member of the class of '61. Bill, thank you. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you, Bob. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Despite the weather, it is indeed a beautiful day for Gettysburg College. And I'll tell you, folks, we are indeed very fortunate today to have with us, to help dedicate this beautiful memorial, elements of the United States Army's 3rd Infantry Regiment. The Old Guard, as it is traditionally referred to, is the Army's oldest active duty serving infantry regiment. It had been serving our nation since 1784. Stationed at Fort Myer, Virginia, its mission is to provide security for the nation's capital, to serve as the United States Army's official ceremonial unit, and escort to the President. The musicians of the unit, as you see moving on to your right, recall the days of the American Revolution as they perform in uniforms that were patterned after those worn by the musicians of General Washington's Continental Army. Also, the 8 members of today's Armed Forces Color Guard are selectively chosen by the several services. Each Color Guard member carries their respective service colors with attached battle campaign streamers. 2 members of today's Color Guard are recent combat veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise at this time for the marching on and the presentation of the colors by the Old Guard, Fife and Drum, and the Armed Forces Color Guard. And veterans and those in uniform may render a hand salute. Color Sergeant, present the colors. Gettysburg College ROTC Cadet Ben Flanders of the class of 2013 will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Color Sergeant, retire the colors. Please take your seats. And I now invite Pastor Joseph Danella, our college chaplain, to offer the invocation. Thank you.
Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. His holy mountain, beautiful in elevation, is joy for all the earth. Almighty God, giver of all good things, we thank you for the majestic beauty and splendor of this place that restores us, for the natural resources of the earth that bless us, and for the men and women who have defended this land at home and abroad. In their trials, strengthen them. In the face of danger, encourage them. Give them, wherever they may be, an abiding sense of your presence. As we dedicate this Veterans Memorial, we pause to remember those who have ventured much for the liberties we now enjoy. Sustain us, that we may complete the great work of our forefathers and mothers. Strengthen our efforts to blot out ignorance and hatred, to abolish poverty and criminality, so that justice, mercy, and peace may prevail. Hasten that day when all your people from all the ends of the earth are united in one joyful chorus, until our knowledge of your love is made perfect by our love for all your children. Every day will we bless you, O Lord, and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised. Your greatness is unsearchable. Amen.
Good morning. I'd like to extend my welcome to all of you this morning. The Gettysburg College Veterans Memorial is a tangible way for us to recognize our alumni, parents, and friends who have proudly served this country. dating back to the time when Civil War troops crossed this very spot. And we're so pleased to have you for this memorial's dedication today. This memorial, to honor both those veterans who are living and those who have passed away, was inspired by Gettysburg College alumnus Richard Bruner, class of 1958, whom I'll be introducing shortly. Rich, who is a retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army, felt the college needed a memorial to honor the many sacrifices made by those Gettysburgians who have served our country since the college's founding in 1832. And I am so glad he did. In addition to Rich, 2 other alumni who've served our country with honor and pride and who were also part of the planning committee for this memorial are here with us today. Bill Matz, class of 1961, retired Major General in the U.S. Army, and Stan Musser, class of 1958, a retired Major General in the U.S. Air Force. Rich, Bill, and Stan, I'd like to thank you personally for envisioning this memorial and spearheading this effort to see it come to fruition. Could I ask the 3 of you to please stand and be recognized? Special thanks to all veterans who are here with us today, ranging from Hank Kangsturfer, a World War II veteran and member of the class of 1940. Hank, can you give us a wave? A wave is good. Welcome, Hank. And I will not introduce every veteran who is here personally, but I wanted to give you a sense of the range from Hank to Jason Cronin, an Iraqi war veteran and member of the class of 2002. Jason, will you give us a wave? There he is. And now could I ask all veterans who are here to either stand, or if you are standing, put your hand up so that we may recognize all of you. I also want to extend a special welcome and tremendous gratitude to members of the Reese family who are here with us today. Although more than 100 individuals contributed to the construction of this memorial, the lead gift came from the family of the late Al Reese, class of 1950, and a veteran of the Marine Corps. The Reese family has a strong legacy here at Gettysburg College. In a few minutes, you'll hear from Al's wife, Virginia Saul Reese, class of 1951, a parent of 1975 and 1977 graduates, grandparent of a 2005 graduate, and the daughter of a 1918 graduate of what was then known as Pennsylvania College. We are so pleased to have members of the Reese family here with us today. In addition to being the lead donors for this memorial, the family has also established the Allison and Virginia Saul Reese Family Scholarship at Gettysburg College. We thank you for your continued generous support of your alma mater. Thank you. I think you'll all agree that this memorial is beautiful. And at night, it is breathtaking. Spotlights are trained on the 3 flags representing Gettysburg College, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and the United States of America. If you have the opportunity to be here at night, I encourage you to take advantage of that. Now, the story of these flags is an interesting one. Christopher Binner, Vice President for Marketing and Sales at the Valley Forge Flag Company in Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, is the parent of sophomore Jeff Binner. Jeff mentioned to his dad that the college was building this memorial and that there would be 3 flagpoles. And Chris and his company offered to donate the flags. Chris, may I ask you to give us a wave so we can recognize you for your company's wonderful gift. And now it is my sincere pleasure to introduce Rich Bruner to say a few words. Rich.
Not as part of my prepared remarks, but I have to say that I echo Dr. Riggs' comment about this memorial in its appearance. Back on September 24th, Cindy, my wife, and I drove up here for the 1832 Society Cupola Gala Affair and first saw the memorial. And I have to say, it's a wow. I mean, it's a wow factor, folks. Perfectly cited, we think, and hope you share that. It's a simplistic, clean, yet tastefully done design. And the thing is, it looks like it's belonged here forever. So I hope you join me in sharing that sentiment. Members of the Board of Trustees, President Briggs, members of the college faculty and administration, veterans of the United States Armed Forces and Merchant Marine, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'll begin with an ominous quote that I think sums up succinctly what surely every veteran feels about their service to country. It wasn't always easy, it wasn't always fair. Freedom called, we answered, we were there. As an alumnus of this college and a veteran, I am honored to be here today. And as I remarked to Dr. Riggs, at my age, I think you share the sentiment, I'm glad to be anywhere, to participate in the dedication of the Gettysburg College Veterans Memorial. The idea for the memorial to our veterans to be constructed here, I thought of nearly a decade ago. I thought, as Janet has remarked, that something ought to be done to recognize the honorable military service in peace and war of those who either attended or graduated from Gettysburg College. There wasn't any tangible recognition of that service anywhere on the campus, and it seemed an overlooked and overdue tribute. I'll be first to say that the effort to create interest and publicize the idea of a Veterans Memorial on the campus was slow going for about 5 years. It had a lot of competition from other more pressing financial needs at the college. Then a series of events occurred which then turned things around. First, I became acquainted with John Heiner, the director of Planned Giving, and from the start, John was enthusiastic and more than just helpful. He very patiently and politely was effective in selling the idea of a Veterans Memorial on the campus. And then about 2 years ago, the college hired Bob Kalin to be VP for Development of Alumni and Parent Relations. He quickly embraced the idea of a Veterans Memorial on the campus, and in his position, he has vigorously led the effort to help make it a reality. I'd also like to say that in addition to Bob and John, Jim Bisecker, the Director of Facilities Planning and Management, and his staff have done the heavy lifting required to get this project done. Special thanks goes to John Beauchamp, grounds manager, who did the design concept for the memorial and has overseen the project from start to finish. If they're here, just raise a hand. We owe you a debt of gratitude for all that you've done to get this here today. Third, in 2009, the Board of Trustees very wisely designated, and the college later inaugurated, a new president, Dr. Janet Riggs, class of 1977. She has been very supportive of the effort to create this impressive and fitting memorial to the veterans of Gettysburg College, and she has our sincere thanks. Dr. Riggs stole some of my thunder in thanking Stan and Bill, but I want to echo that from the get-go, Major General Stan Musser, classmate of mine, 1958, and Major General Bill Matz, both of these distinguished college alumni and veterans, who, by the way, like me, are products of the ROTC programs that were in place here from 1917 until 1991. I'll do the math for you, 74 years, lent their support and encouragement at every turn along the way. Thanks very much, Generals Musser and Matz. It's important to note that donations, both large and small, for Gettysburg College Veterans Memorial have been received from college alumni and friends far and wide. However, there's one donation that deserves special recognition, and again, as Dr. Riggs has already mentioned, the significant gift of Mrs. Virginia Saul Reese, class of 51, in memory of her late husband, Al Reese, class of 50, who was a World War II Marine Corps veteran who served in the Pacific Theater, put the project over the top and has enabled us to have this memorial built sooner rather than later. Thank you so much, Mrs. Reese, for your thoughtfulness and generosity. If you're wondering why the Veterans Memorial is placed here at Musselman Stadium, I reason that the turf here is the place many of our athletes battle mightily to gain victory for the college over a sports opponent. There is some symbolic similarity between those athletic struggles, at times involving blood, sweat, and tears, to what our veterans have endured over the years in their peerless service to the nation. What better place on the campus, then, but here? The location is also not far from those students enrolled in the Army and Air Force ROTC programs, drilled weekly on the field behind Eddie Plank Gym. I'd like to remind you that while this memorial is now a reality, your dollars continue to be needed to sustain its maintenance and upkeep. Those who wish to continue to donate to this project, which is deductible from your federal income tax returns, may do so by making the checks payable to Gettysburg College. Indicate in the memo section of your check that the donation is for the Gettysburg College Veterans Memorial Fund, and mail it off to the college. John will have to receive it happily, I'm sure. We're here today to dedicate this memorial to honor our veterans and the service to the country, and I believe it's useful to remind us of the definition of the word veteran. If you search the dictionary or Wikipedia, you'll find that it's derived from the Latin word vetus or vetus, which means old. The most common usage is for former armed services personnel, especially one who has served in combat. I bring this up because I actually got a letter from someone who said, well, I want to donate, but I'm not a veteran. I was never in combat. And so I wanted to dispel that notion, because although it is especially applied to those who served for an entire career, usually 20 years or more, it may be applied for someone who has only served for one tour of duty, be it in peace or war. A common misconception is that only those who have served in combat or those who are retired from active duty can be called military veterans. That's not so. David Hackett Fisher, the author who won the Pulitzer Prize in History for his book, Washington's Crossing, and I commend that novel to you if you want to read a real thriller, which he published in 2004. But on the occasion today, I'm reminded of the famous words in that book of Thomas Paine, a firebrand who actually worked in the Revolutionary War as the first war correspondent in American history. You might say the Ernie Pyle of the Revolutionary War. And he wrote The American Crisis, #1, as he retreated with the American Army across New Jersey, and had published in the Pennsylvania Journal on December 19, 1776, a week before the Battle of Trenton. And the stirring words in part are, and I quote, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and sunshine patriot will, in crisis, shrink from the service of his country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman," unquote. That, I suggest, is what this memorial we dedicate today is all about, an expression of our love, respect, and thanks for all of our veterans of the armed forces and merchant marine who have answered the call to duty and honorably served this nation. I'll close with a quote from General Washington and a remark he made to Lund Washington, a distant cousin of his who served as his business manager for 30 years at Mount Vernon. I suggest the words convey what every veteran feels about the service he or she gave for country. Quote, "There is one reward that nothing can deprive me of, and that is the consciousness of having done my duty with the strictest of rectitude and most scrupulous exactness, unquote. May God bless America, those now serving our country in the United States Armed Forces, to include our National Guard and Reserves, our veterans, and this college. I'll be followed by Mrs. Virginia Saul Reese. Thank you.
I promise I was short. Good morning. I'm so pleased to join you all today for this dedication. My husband, Al Reese, would be so very proud to realize that his efforts and contributions have resulted in this magnificent tribute to the veterans of Gettysburg College. The college is very important to Al and the family, as evidenced by his years of service in the Board of Fellows, as well as his membership in the Cupola Society. He was honored to receive the Meritorious Service Award in 2002 and often recalled his memories as a 60-minute man, as a guard on the Gettysburg College football team. He was only 160 pounds. As a proud Marine who spent years moving among Pacific Islands, often landing under entrenched Japanese fire, and living in foxholes for long durations of time during World War II. Thankfully, because of this kind of service and those of you who are out there today and many more, we can still appreciate this wonderful free country. I'm pleased to share that my father, Harry Saul, was a Gettysburg graduate in the class of 1918. He was also a member of the cavalry. And the Reese family is a proud Gettysburg College legacy family. Both Al and I graduated from Gettysburg College, as did our two sons who are here, David and Stuart, our daughter-in-law Betsy, and our granddaughter Jillian, whose husband is a Navy flyer. He's on duty this weekend. Our family members have contributed talents and resources, including my son Stuart's time on the trustee board. We all love Gettysburg College. At this time, I'd like to ask the members of my family to please stand up. I'm very proud of them. As you know. Thank you all so much for this special day. I'm now honored to invite to the podium Jason Pierce, who is a U.S. Navy veteran and a member of the class of 2013. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jason Pierce, and as Mrs. Reese stated, I am a Navy veteran of 6 years, and I'm also a member of the class of 2013. I actually grew up in this town. I've known about the Gettysburg College. I actually played around in the campus for many years. And it's a privilege to return to this school as a student. During my time in the Navy, I attended the Naval Nuclear Propulsion Community and served on board the USS Carter Hall, LSD-50. That's a member of the amphibious fleet, as an electrician's mate. I also worked to calibrate gauges, monitoring various systems, maintaining interior communications throughout positions in the ship, and also acted as a first responder to various emergencies such as fire, flooding, and injuries that may have occurred and did occur on board. During my time aboard the Carter Hall, we went on 2 deployments off the coast of Somalia for pirate interdiction operations. We boarded vessels suspected of conducting pirate operations. We also acted as a forward operating base for about a month, hosting various special operations services as well as Iraqi nationals, training them in oil platform defense. Once I was done with my time in the Navy, I left as a third-class petty officer. I decided to return to Gettysburg because of their wonderful history and teaching program, and also because of the wonderful benefits and attitude that the college affords veterans. Not only did I benefit from the GI Bill, but the Gettysburg College participates in the Yellow Ribbon program. I'm very thankful for that. That enables veterans to take advantage of a lot of benefits that comes from college education. I'm choosing to major in American Studies with an interest in teaching high school social studies. I want to imbue a sense of patriotism and citizenship in the students that I have, and I think that Gettysburg best affords me that opportunity. It is a great privilege to be here today to express sincere appreciation for this wonderful tribute to our Gettysburg College veterans. On behalf of my fellow students, it is my honor to thank the Reese family, generous alumni, friends, and committee members who supported the Veterans Memorial Project. Please welcome Trustee Chair Bob Dukes back to the podium.
Well, thanks for hanging in there. The breeze was a little more than we had anticipated, but I would like to thank all of today's speakers, starting with General Matz, President Riggs, Colonel Brunner, Mrs. Reese, and Navy veteran and current student Jason Pierce. Please join me again in giving them another round of applause. Well, I don't know about you, but listening to the speakers, seeing the presentation of the colors and the American salute, hearing the national anthem performed by the old guard fife and drum, was quite moving and reminded me just how proud we should all be to be Americans. On behalf of the college's Board of Trustees, I would like to personally thank everyone that was involved in making today possible, the individuals and groups here with us today, as well as those who were unable to attend, to help us mark this solemn and important occasion as we recognize Gettysburg College veterans. This marks the conclusion of the dedication of the wall. We encourage you to come up and get a close look at it and enjoy the rest of this great weekend. Thank you.
That's really a nice touch, I have to say. And you look, I didn't know what's kind of weather. Yeah. Anyway, you look terrific.
Thanks for playing. Really enjoyed it. This is truthfully the first time I've been an national anthem on the flight. Very impressive. Trying to get closer. Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's definitely not the hardest. Yeah. Well, yeah, I get to sleep. Okay, all right. That's fine. I was going to do it. It's not off the metro. We live in Virginia, right next door. So you look great. Good job. Oh, I actually walked in. You convinced him you weren't deaf? No.